Every Friday in the third hour, Bob Chapman of the internationalforecaster.com joins us. We're going to him in a moment. Popping in via video Skype for prisonplanet.tv viewers and audio for radio listeners. We're going to have about 10, 15 minutes coming up at the bottom of the hour with Mike Rivero to give us his take with Bob Chapman on the kamikaze attack in Austin. The media trying to say it was the Tea Parties that did it. As I predicted before the media even said it, they would. Very, very suspicious. We're going to recap all of that coming up. And, of course, wide open phones on the kamikaze attack coming up in the last hour. It'll be totally open phones in the last hour today. We've reached the halfway point here in the 4-hour radio broadcast. I'll be back Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time live. I want to tell you about a few of the sponsors that make the radio show possible. One of them is the Ecola Blue company, EcolaBlue.com. They have little bitty moisture evaporators that grab water out of the air, send it through a whole bunch of great filters, put it in a stainless steel tank, all computerized, very easy to use. EcolaBlue.com, they've got big ones that can, hundreds of people can get water from. Very economical. And they have 10% off until Monday. Their once-a-month special being run right now. 10% off on some of their key units. Just tell them the product code Alex Jones to get that discount. EcolaBlue.com or 800-691-6043. It grabs water out of the air. That's what the clouds are. EcolaBlue.com, 800-691-6043. Also want to tell you about MySolarBackup.com. Have you lost your power and wanted to simply flip a switch to get the lights back on? If so, you should check out MySolarBackup.com because there's never been a better time to start getting off the grid and generate your own supply of electrical power. Here's why. Plug-and-play solar generators from Solutions from Science. These portable power systems need no installation, supply household current whenever and whenever you need it, producing electricity directly from the sun. Unlike gas generators, solar generator runs quietly and emits no fumes. It's like having your own electric power plant. It's perfect for your home or your campsite or outside, little shack where you're doing electrical work or hobbies, to drive your tools, your power tools. Whatever it's hurricanes, ice storms, brownouts, blackouts, you'll never have to suffer through painful power outages again. MySolarBackup.com, because it has a battery system, not just during the day. 877-327-0365. 877-327-0365, MySolarBackup.com. Okay, going to Bob Chapman before we get into the economy, the kamikaze attack, and more. You just heard Traficant on, Bob. I know you were on hold. Man, it's good to see him up and fighting like this and surviving his railroading into prison.
Well, we certainly need him, that's for sure. This guy is fearless. As you said, he's stronger now than he's ever been. And I hope that his coming back will cause these people in Washington and in New York City spasms of despair.
Well, over 90% in polls now want to abolish the Fed or audit it. 75% are angry, Republican and Democrat and independent at government policies. Rasmussen, it's gaining a few points every week. I mean, the government is collapsing right now. Before we get into all the big developments in the last week in the economy that people tune in to hear your expertise on and your insight every week, the kamikaze attack. Is he a lone angry guy who was persecuted? Is it a setup? The fact that instantly they said Tea Parties did it, and then lo and behold, he was angry at the tax system is very suspicious. The reports we got that they had the emergency crews there, that was on the local news before it happened. We talked to multiple witnesses, not just the local newscast. The fact that one of our sources in the FBI said they had a threat to buildings, government buildings, the night before and dispatched Dallas agents. Was that because of his screed on the web? That doesn't prove inside job. The fact is we don't know. Looking at this, Bob Chapman, 28 hours in, what do you think's going on?
There's a lot of conflicting information, and that makes it difficult. We're on the outside looking in. We're backing into what we think can be a solution as to why it happened. The Tea Party, I don't think, has anything to do with it. I think that this man was hounded by the Internal Revenue Service, and he saw all the things going on around him. He didn't like it. He was losing what he had. He wanted to get back at him, and he was prepared to die to do it. And I think that's what happened.
Continue.
as far as the emergency equipment being available before it happened, if the FBI was called or found out that he was going to do that because of something he said on the internet, I would think that would be a reasonable explanation as to why it was there, and maybe the FBI was onto the whole thing, but probably didn't know how to stop it.
Or didn't want to stop it so they could play the victim.
Well, that's true, too.
I mean, if they're coming down to Austin, or they already have emergency equipment out there, and all this is going on, they knew where his airplane supposedly was in Georgetown. Why weren't they there?
That's a good question. So if all of that is fact, that they did know where his plane was, they should have been down there guarding it or impounding it or something.
Well, we're not sure. I mean, this is what the source said, and that's just one of many reports as we tried to put all the evidence out there for all of our collective minds to come to a conclusion on. What about the larger issue? I mean, Traficant off air was going, hey, what about Austin? You're down there. This guy was fed up. We're sick of it. And then on air, he said similar things. A lot of people out there want to believe that he did it on his own, and they like it. And I think that overall is dangerous because Northcom and the globalists normally bomb themselves as a pretext to crack down. And, I mean, I just think we're making such inroads right now peacefully. I don't know if targeting secretaries in an IRS building is a good idea or a good thing PR-wise. What's your take on that?
I agree with you completely. And, we've preached this on all of the shows that we've been on. Don't get sucked into the vortex of the government getting you to do things that they would like to do themselves, but if you're dumb enough to do it, well, go ahead and do it. And so with that said, we don't want violence. And I feel very bad that the man is now deceased. And there had to be another solution. I would say in retrospect, too bad somebody wasn't around who could have calmed him down and taken the ideas of destroying himself and in the process and possibly killing innocent people.
Well, here's what we know now. And I predicted this yesterday morning, and now they've done it last night and today. They want to put body scanners in, X-rays, security at all airports. Most airports maybe have 10, 15 planes. They're all over the place. And this will destroy general private aviation if they bring TSA-level control into the small airports. Now they announced yesterday, they already started this yesterday morning before this even happened, the Viper teams are now popping up everywhere with random checkpoints on the streets and at bus and train terminals. So they're certainly using this to put a giant police state Stasi in. What's next? If people use cars to run over cops, will we ban citizens having cars?
Well, I also heard yesterday of someone who defended their home by using a sword. And so they'll have to start outlawing swords and, of course, butcher knives and just about everything.
Well, Oklahoma just passed a law that you can't fortify your home with more than 3 deadbolts. You can't have burglar bars. They're now illegal because the criminal government wants in, and so do their little buddy criminals.
Yeah, I saw that. They're going all the way. There's no question. And they're trying to draw us into this. And again, what you've said is very positive. Don't go out and commit suicide like this gentleman did. It's not a good idea. It's not good for you, and it's not good for what we're trying to accomplish. We want to get people like Jim Traficant back into Congress. We want to get anybody into Congress except the people who are there with minor exception. And goodness knows, you've heard me say this over the last couple of years on this program. We have to take Congress away from the people who are being paid off. If we can do that, we can get the Federal Reserve audited and then gotten rid of. We can get rid of executive orders. We can get rid of the Plunge Protection Team, which is a working group on financial markets, which is a executive order. We can get rid of campaign financing, and we can also get rid of lobbying. And in one fell swoop, in 6 to 8 months, with the right Congress, we could accomplish all of that. And at the same time, we could make inroads to disbanding Homeland Security.
Bob Chapman,